Hi DC fans, Damien Fashani here, Director of News and Media for DCComicsNews.com. With the recent release of Superpower Beatdown, Batman vs Darth Vader, the one we were all anticipating, we watched it and absolutely loved it, just like you. And then we started to ask ourselves some questions. Who is Kevin Porter? Who is the man behind the mask? What inspires him? How did he get into Batman? And how did he get into film? That's right, we bring you guys a 45-minute video interview, a very casual interview, one that humanises the actor and humanises the character in Batman. So sit back and enjoy a 45-minute interview with the great Kevin Porter. Mr. Porter, thank you for joining DC Comics News for our exclusive interview. It's great to have you online. Thanks for making the time to talk to us. We've done a couple of projects before. We've done some Q&As and some interviews, so it's great to have the opportunity to work with you again. I wanted to extend our congratulations to you with Batman vs Darth Vader. We've all been waiting for it for a while, and it's already got over a million hits on YouTube. So it's going gangbusters, particularly even over here in Australia. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. And I appreciate all of your support and everything that we've done so far.
No problem. It's great to speak to you again. So for our DC fans, let's rewind and go back to the beginning of your career and talk about the opportunity on how you got into acting and what it means to you.
Basically, I've always wanted to get into theater. I've always I grew up acting or acting out, so to speak. I had my first opportunity to really legitimately be in theater in college, and I did quite a few plays all through my college career, and that gave me the bug. I moved out to Los Angeles a few years later, and have just been fortunate to have worked in the industry ever since. My first speaking role was in the X-Files, and that's where I got into the union. That's where I got my SAG card.
Excellent. So moving on from there with your acting career, DC Comics and Batman is such an iconic figure, one of the most popular figures that in the comic book world. How did you stumble upon the character?
Well, I've always loved the character. I just posted a audio of myself as 5 years old and talking about Batman, and I blame my mother for brainwashing me into loving Batman. And so I grew up basically always dressing as Batman. I answered a casting when I first came out here. This was 1999. They're looking for actors to portray Batman for live appearances throughout the world, and I said, "Wow, that would be the best job ever." And I was fortunate to be a finalist, and then I ended up getting cast. And so what I was doing at that point was wearing the suit and traveling all over the world wherever Batman's needed, and that's for parades, for grand openings, Make-A-Wish events, things like that. And that's been a blessing.
Fantastic. With I guess with the internet and with DC fans talking about what Batman means to them and the films and everything else, there's been a lot of debate about who best plays Batman, who has best built the persona of Batman over time, and I dare say that there's probably a couple of people out there that have built that persona to a point where a lot of people tend to agree that. Yes, this is the persona of Batman that we can all agree to, or that we can all register with, if that makes sense. How has playing the role Batman altered your life across the journey?
Well, it's very personal to me because the character means a great deal. Every time I put on the suit, I take it very, very seriously. And so every time that I put it on, whether it's in a live appearance and I'm performing for this child, which is his world, and this is the most performance in his life for me, or if it's for a Bat in the Sun production, which it's a different approach to it, it's changed my life. through travel, through just the people that I've touched, the people that I've met. Now, career-wise, through the films that I've done, it's spun my career around in an amazing direction just through the exposure that I've gotten. So I know that I wouldn't be here personally or professionally without Batman.
So with playing the role of Batman, how has in the past compared to I guess in the past when you initially started playing that role till now, how do you prepare for a role like that? What do you tend to do to get into the persona or get into the mood to really deliver a performance?
Well, there's a couple of ways. First of all, whenever I have an appearance coming up or whenever I have a film coming up, I always ask, which Batman is it? Is it Dark Knight? Is it going to be the Arkham City? Whatever, because then that lets me know physically, do I need to slim down? Do I need to beef up? My approach to it emotionally is, a lot of it is, you get the script ahead of time, it's all character study, and you see where you need to go, but it's far too soon to get there. On the day of the shoot, that's when I will, normal Kevin starts to drift away, and I start getting a little more quiet. I start to get a little more into the character, because you can't whistle and sing between takes and then be the Batman. Now, sometimes you'll have your periodic hijinks on set, but for the most part, you have to tap into that dark place, which I love. That's why I love playing the darker characters, because I'm really not that person. I love playing Punisher, love playing Batman. There's a character that I'm doing in Fallen Cards, the Netflix original, called Byron Chavers. Very similar, very dark, very brooding character, and that's interestingly become my wheelhouse. That's my lane. That's my safe zone. That I know that I can settle in and be this darker character. And maybe it's because there is a dark side in me that needs to be exercised and brought out. In a controlled environment, I don't know, but I do know that it's cathartic. It's absolutely cathartic whenever I play the character.
So in saying that, then, with all the different personas of Batman, the different characters across the journey, whether it's the video game Batman or the Dark Knight or so forth, if you could only pick one persona of the Batman moving forward and play that role and mature that role, which persona of the Batman would it be?
I always go back to City of Scars. I always go back to that film. I think that that we all basically knocked it out of the park there. I loved the suit. It was classic spandex. I loved the darker, slightly jaded version of Batman that's holding on to whatever shred of humanity that he has, even though he knows that it would be so much easier to step over 100% into that abyss, as he likes to call it. Everything about that, the tone, the performance, the context, it would absolutely be City of Scars. And what we've done since and what we've done prior, whether it's Legends, Patient J, Seeds of Arkham, so many that we've done, but without a doubt, even including the live appearances, it would be the City of Scars Batman that I think most resonates in everyone, including myself.
So, City of Scars, we were talking about the impact that movie has had on fans around the world and the internet. If we lived in the internet Matrix style, you would be the Batman of our world. The effect that film has had on DC fans around the world. People still talk about that film today. What does that film mean to you?
To me, I'm very proud of everything I've done. I've done larger projects. I was very proud of Daredevil. Very proud of Dodgeball. Just a lot of things that I've done. I would say I'm most proud of City of Scars of anything that I've done. And when we were doing it, we knew that we were doing something very special. And it was a small group. Bad the Sun was much smaller at the time. And so it was a small group of filmmakers led by Aaron and Sean that led the charge on this. And it was their enthusiasm and the belief of their vision that would drive us into 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and knowing that we're doing something special. When it came out, I had no idea how it would be received. And very similar to Dodgeball, it was received very well, and the response was great. However, over the years, it's gotten stronger. And City of Scars was, I think, 4 years ago, maybe 5, definitely 4. And it's as strong now as it's ever been. It was just voted recently by Movies.com as the greatest fan film of all time, which is a huge compliment, and that encompasses all fan films, not just Batman. And to be appreciated for the work. And at the end of the day, I'm an actor, and this is my passion. And so to be appreciated for doing something that I love to do, that I've studied to do, that I've worked my tail off to be as good as I can be, and Batman is a role that I wear, and a role that I feel very, very passionate about and very comfortable playing, and to be acknowledged for that is a gift like you wouldn't believe. And whenever someone says something, oh my goodness, it's just, I'm very humbled. To do something that you love and to be acknowledged for doing it is the most amazing thing.
Yes, and like I said before, there are people, particularly here. I mean, even in Australia, there are people that still talk about that film and talk about the effect that film has had on them as Batman fans, and looking for such a unique persona of the character. And with acting and using different methods of acting to connect to your audience, I guess what does success look like for you in the future, as far as connecting with the audience and building an ongoing persona of the Batman? What's that look like for you in the future?
Gosh, that's such a good question. I've never been asked that question before. Thank you. Success to me is, first of all, having pride in the work, being able to sit back and say, oh, actually, being on set, being prepared, having a connection with your partner, and then once they say cut, being proud of what you just did. That to me is first and foremost. And when that is taken, and is taken in the brilliant hands of Aaron or Justin or whoever that I work with, whatever brilliant directors and editors, is trust in them that they will that they've captured what your performance has done, and they put it together because it's an ensemble. There's so many moving parts in a film. You're just one color in the overall painting. So success to me is being proud of what you do at the time, being proud of the finished product, and again, then once it's done, you just don't know. You can look at it and it's great. How's it going to be received? And there's a part of all of us, there's definitely a part of me that wants that validation, and that wants people to say, you know what, Kevin, great job. And fortunately, I have aligned myself with such a great group of people that we're putting out good product, and not just with Bat the Sun, with other production companies and the larger ones. I've got 3 features coming out next year. And success is doing what I love doing, sustaining my lifestyle by doing what I love doing, maintaining the integrity, because I when you get to a certain level that I'm blessed to be at, you have opportunities to sell your integrity out a bit, and you learn to zig when you could have zagged. And so having integrity in what you do, and to maintain that level of commitment to what you're doing. So sustaining yourself, moving forward, growing as an actor, because I could keep doing, and I mentioned that my lane is the deep voice, tall, tough guy, and I could keep doing Batman, Punisher. I'm sure I would destroy Judge Dredd. I would love that. But I really would. I know I would kill it. But it's that's Punisher with a helmet on. So I want to keep growing as an actor. That's why when I was approached to do Truth of the Mask by Justin, and he said there are no masks in it. It's you as Bruce Wayne, and I'm an actor, and I'm a studied actor, and I love playing Batman. But whenever you play Batman, he limits you physically. he limits you facially, and then also emotionally a bit, because he's a bit guarded, and that in itself is an exercise. But doing Truth of the Mask was amazing, because I'm exploring Bruce Wayne now, which to me is a little more complex of a character than Batman.
And this is what made Truth of the Mask such a brilliant film, because we got to see a fan film that is about Batman, but without Batman, and watching a film with you building that persona of Bruce Wayne, it really humanized the character in a very unique way, in a way that we really haven't seen before. And sometimes, the part of the entertainment of watching a Batman film is seeing the cowl and the cape and Batman, kicking butt, so to speak. So seeing that human side of the character is something that I think we needed as an audience. It really showed us the other side of the character. So, what I mean, we talked about what City of Scars means to you. What does Truth of the Mask? What does that film mean to you now that you've done something like that, which is probably on the flip side of everything else? Does it feel complete for you now that you've done all these films as Batman, and now you've built this, you've done a film as Bruce Wayne? Is there more in that space you think you can pursue?
With City of Scars, we touched on Bruce Wayne a bit. And we had Batman. I would love to do. I'd like to do a couple more Batman films, and then either move on to an original character. I love Batman. I just do. However, I think that we're hitting the ceiling on our growth. I think at this point, because we're Batman the Sun is doing an original series with Jason David Frank and myself and John Morrison called Taz Kate and Operation Black Unicorn, and it's completed. It's amazing, and that's the direction absolutely that we're going to go on. But as far as Batman and the remaining projects that I would love to do with Batman, more Bruce Wayne, and then I would transitionally love to see the physical transition between Bruce Wayne and Batman. I was able to do that emotionally a bit in Truth of the Mask, and that was my favorite part. I remember having long conversations with Aaron, and Aaron is very big into character study, Aaron Chalky. And he would say, okay, give me Bruce Wayne. Okay, give me Batman. Give me Batman as Bruce Wayne. And so, or Bruce Wayne as Batman. And I was really able to wrap my head around the nuance of of the dynamic that Bruce Wayne, the person, struggles inside. And all of that I was able to portray in Truth of the Mask. I was able to go through. There were three characters that you saw in Truth of the Mask. You saw Bruce Wayne, you saw public Bruce Wayne, and then you saw Batman. And they're three different. And I loved that. I loved playing the nuance of that, and I would love to bring it all together, and have some scenes to where Bruce Wayne is in the suit, but without the mask on, and having these conversations about what drives him. I love kicking and punching, and I definitely want to get to Batman Vader. Love that. It's awesome and super cool, and that brings out the kid in me, and we all sit around and watch and go, oh, that's awesome. But I love exploring what drives the character. Why does this dude really want to dress up as a bat and comb the alleyways and beat up criminals?
I think definitely. I think the psychology behind the character is so interesting, and I think for me as a lifelong Batman fan, the psychology behind how driven a human being is to become that symbol and to do what he does every night and drive himself mentally and physically, it's so unique and so interesting, and I think it's something that you've been able to make real, if that really makes sense on the screen. So with that, if we can move to Vader versus Batman, and the most recent production that's gone live, over 1 million hits on YouTube. We've been talking about this for a long time. There's been pocket conversations all over the internet about, if Batman and Vader was to face off in Vader's world or in Batman's world, who would win and why. You guys really kicked the ball out of the park on this one. This was such a brilliant film and a brilliant fight. And once again, you as Batman was just absolutely brilliant. Can you take us through the journey of how the idea came about with the two characters?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for your kind words. And it's exploding. And I would like to say that we were shocked, but no. Aaron said it's going to be huge. And he predicted numbers and is hitting those numbers. It'll be 2 million by tomorrow. It's amazing.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just watching it, and so I saw someone. It was like 740 a second or something. It's crazy. I remember we were. I spend a lot of time at the Bat and Sun Studios, and when I say that, I mean I go up there and we go down to Subway. Up there, the studios are up in Calabasas. Go to Subway Sandwich Shop, and we talk football, we talk music, and we talk comic books, and film. And it's just personal, and we just shoot the crap. I've had such a good friendship with them for over 12 years. And they said, "Well, what do you think about?" And this was, I remember we were at In-N-Out Burger. Are you familiar with In-N-Out Burger?
Yes, I've been to the States before.
It's a huge deal in Los Angeles. So we were at In-N-Out Burger. I guess we were maybe off our diet that day, and they pitched Batman versus Vader, and they're both very excited about it, and they took me through the entire journey. They said, you're going to fly in, and you're going to be in a bat plane, and you're going to go in stealth mode, and then literally step by step of everything that ended up being exactly as the end result was. And after he told me this, I said, Aaron, if for anyone else, I would think that you're full of it. I would think that there's no way that you can pull this off. But I know for a fact that everything you said will occur as I see it in my head. And I said, I'm absolutely in. Because it's going to take a lot of training. It's going to take a lot of time and very, very long shoot dates. I said, I'm in, because I knew from at this point, whenever you do something with these guys, it's going to be new and it's going to be trendy, and it's going to raise the bar every single time. They rarely take steps back. They rarely take time off. So at that point on, it was just a matter of we knew that Damian would be Vader. We knew that David Baxter would be Vader unmasked, because he's like the #1 Vader in the world with the 501st. We knew all the people that would be a part of it. And it was a who's who of everyone from the most amazing crew that you can imagine. And it's a long list, but I knew immediately that it was going to be brilliant, and it hasn't. None of us have let each other down. We've all given it our all, because we knew that we would sit back and be thankful for the time that we put in.
So with that film end to end, was there anything? I guess before we talked about how you prepare to be the Batman and what you do to build that character, was there anything different with this particular film as far as how you had to prepare for everything, preparation, everything from training to building the character? Was there anything different you had to do?
A lot of it was physical, and if this was shot maybe a month and a half after Punisher versus Red Hood. So at Punisher versus Red Hood, Aaron said, Kevin, and we were shooting Punisher versus Red Hood and Operation Black Unicorn. Aaron said, Kevin, I want you to come in as big as you can. So I came in about 250 for those two projects. That was huge. I hated carrying around that much weight, but it looked really good on film. I was a bull. And then after that, he goes, okay, Kevin, I want you to get down to the 220 for Batman versus Vader. I need you to move really, really well. I want you to be very stealthy, because a lot of your moves are going to be martial arts based. I said, all right. So had a couple months to, and I'm very fortunate I can gain the moves. So the physical preparation, and he said, you're wearing, the suit, so you're going to have to be lighter. So boom, dropped gosh, maybe 30 pounds. Dang. So I went down from 250 down to 220. And he was right. I was happy I did. I moved well. I was able to handle myself much better because in Punisher, I was just big, big.
You were huge. Yeah.
Yeah. My cruising weight is about 230, and so if I need to gain or lose, it's pretty simple. Getting up to 250 was I don't want to say it was tough, but it was fun, and it took some time to just hammer it. Losing weight, basically, you just do a lot less, and you do a little more cardio, and you're just very strict in your diet.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. So with Batman versus Vader, the one of the incredible things you're talking about, always taking things to the next level when working with Bat and the Sun and doing those productions, the CGI was pretty good. And with Batman evolving as a character in this film, he's the Batman that we see, in some of the video games and so forth, where technologically he's very connected and very switched on. How did that work with the CGI and you, I guess, imagining the imagery to be there? How did that work?
Well, I had to act, Damien. So I had to pretend like things were there. And first of all, the CGI were all done by Nikolai, and he's this amazing artist based out of Russia, and we can't say enough wonderful things about him. When you had like the Gauntlet computer, and it pops up, and it's this whole virtual reality, kind of this hologram. And Aaron, you can't hear it, but Aaron is like, okay, now touch your left, you're going to swipe to your right, touch the gauntlet. So everything you see I'm doing. And I don't want to make it seem as if I'm just a puppet, but he's telling me what to do. And I'm like, all right, I trust you. I'm sure it's going to look cool. Sure. All right, Aaron. And I'll be gosh darned, I watched it and I was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing I've ever done. And there's a lot of that. Me jumping out of the window. That was me actually jumping backwards out of the window when Vader propels me back. And he said, well, what's going to happen is we're going to have glass falling all over you. And all of that was all digital. That's not real glass. I just jumped out of an empty window. So many things that he's like, when I was in the bat plane, now this is what's going to be here, and that's what's going to be there. And I said, okay. And you just trust him. Because if you were to look at the raw footage without the CGI, you just look like an idiot. You're just conducting this imaginary orchestra. But when I watched it, I'm like, well, yeah, dang, I'm in the bat plane, and there's all kinds of cool stuff floating around me. So I can't. You take away the CGI, and it's just like anything else. Nikolai was a character as much as Vader was, as much as I was. It wouldn't be an acceptable project without him.
So I'm going to tell you what personally what my coolest scene was in that film, and if you could reciprocate and tell me what your favourite part was for our fans, because I've talked to a plethora of people already on this film, and people were just like, this is amazing. So, jaws dropped to the ground and not having seen anything like that before. For me, the scene where it was kind of slow motion. Batman flips his cape back, and the lightsaber comes out. Batman with the lightsaber is one of the coolest things. And I'm probably talking, the geek in me is talking now. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. What is the most favorite part that resonated with you out of that film?
That was the part that when we saw it, and there was like maybe 10 or 12 people at the studios, and that was the part where everyone went crazy. I wish that we were in a theater because that's the part where you would hear everyone cheer. I love speaking. I love whenever I'm able to speak as Batman. So I think when I first see Vader, up until the point I'm shot out of the window, I could watch that 80 times. I used to watch it on a loop over and over and over again. And I think it's when Batman shows his sheer brutality. He overcomes the force choke with the EMP, drops down, and you just see that he's livid, but he's a little cocky. He's like, "I got this," and the line is, I'll take my science over your magic any day." And boom, he throws on those taser gauntlets, and he just starts going to town with Vader. Love that, because it just shows that Batman is just he's just brute force, and he's going to beat the snot out of this guy. He's just another thug. And and then Vader pulls up the lightsaber, and he's like, "That's cool. I got one too." And then there's Kevin Porter, little Kevin Porter, with a lightsaber on the Death Star, fighting Darth Vader. And I'm like, "How did I get here?" I watch it, and I just send to every one of my friends going, "What am I doing on the Death Star? What the heck?" Because I watch it as a fan, and I geek out. And I remember Damien, when we were watching it, Damien said about himself, he's like, because Damien played Darth Vader, and he goes, "That's not me. I don't know what I'm watching." And it's that surreal. It really is. When you're watching, and I'm watching it now, I see Batman. I really do, and I just can't believe that enough people have come together to make, little Kevin Porter, little Southern boy, into Batman fighting Vader on the Death Star. It's surreal to watch. The whole, just from that point until once I get knocked out of the glass window, then it's a little tough to watch.
It was tough for me too, Mr. Porter. Being a Batman fan, that was a little bit tough to see.
Yeah, it's brutal. And I saw it for the first time with a group. And I'm like, ooh. I knew what was happening. I did it. I was there. But to watch it, and with the sound effects and everything, I can't wait for the alternate ending. We're shooting that in a couple of weeks, and I know what the alternate ending is going to be. We all know what the outcome, of course, is going to be, but how we get there is going to make a lot of people happy. The thing that really upsets me is there's so many people they're so loyal to Batman and graciously loyal to me that I send it to them. I'm like, "Oh, what'd you think? How'd you like it?" And they're like, "Oh, it sucked. You lost." And I'm like, "No, it didn't suck. It was amazing. It's just a movie. I didn't lose. I'm here. Did you like it?" And a lot of people have a hard time separating the merits of the filmmaking from the outcome. And so, what I want to hear is the same response I would hear when with Steve Scars. "Oh, it was, I loved it, or I didn't like it, or whatever." But it's the good and bad thing about the superhero beatdowns is all based on the outcome. Did they lose? Did they win? And getting there, and the brilliance of the filmmaking sometimes gets lost in that. I'm like, "Oh, but what did you think about the fight? What do you think about the lightsabers? What do you think about this?" Like, "Yeah, that was great, but you lost." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's get another one out there for you, so you can like that one."
We had some of those conversations at DC Comics News. We were talking over video, over the internet, about the ending and the filmmaking and so forth. And it's that conversation around. It's such a brilliant film. It was put together well. Your performance again was it's just consistently great. And then the little Batman fan in all of us. Sometimes it was in the conversation. It was like, oh. It was such a brilliant film. It would have been a little bit more awesome if Batman won. It's like, well, take a step back from that and just have a look at the film in its entirety. So, again, on behalf of DC Comics News, we want to congratulate you and everyone involved in that film. It was such a brilliant piece of artwork and how you guys put that together. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you. And yeah, it's funny because you just taught me something, because I need to take a step back and need to say, okay, everyone that watches this has an investment in Batman, and it's their own personal investment on how they view Batman and how they love Batman and how they react to Batman. It's Batman dying, so they're not there. They didn't make the film. They don't really care about the journey. They just care about the destination. So I should be a little more understanding in that regard, and understand that Batman belongs to everyone. Everyone has their own personal relationship with the icon. So let's just give them something to cheer about soon.
That'd be brilliant. And to be truthfully honest, and I don't know if it's public knowledge, but I didn't know an alternate ending is coming. So that's that'd be good to see that as well. Something a little bit different.
It is public knowledge. We're shooting it in 2 weeks. I know exactly what it's going to be, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait.
You know, we've talked about Batman versus Vader. We're going to probably jump off Batman if we can for a second and focus a little bit more about you as an actor. I think all our fans see you as Batman, but it's also good to know just a little bit more about the man behind the mask and the actor. You were talking about before you've got 3 projects on for next year, for 2015. Can you give our fans just a little bit of an insight of what the future looks like for Kevin Porter?
Yeah, one of the projects is called Guilty Innocent. I shot it this year, and it is produced by Catherine Hardwicke, who did all of the Twilight films. I've got another project called Acre Beyond the Rye, another one called You Can't Have It, and it's got really solid names, good solid features, theatrically released, and it's funny. My career, thanks to digital media and through the internet, is much more diversified, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it so much more. Operation Black Unicorn. That's probably going to be released online through web series. That's the one with Jason David Frank. Fallen Cards, which has such an amazing cast: Rich Manley, Kevin Farley, David Spade, myself. And it's funny because there's so many people that are part of Fallen Cards that they show up on set and I recognize them, like, oh, that's the guy from My Name is Earl, or oh, that's the guy from this. And it's one of those projects where you look and it has so much texture within the cast and so many quality people. So Fallen Cards is this post-apocalyptic western that I played Byron Chambers, who's the mayor of this town, and he's corrupt and he's not very nice. And I enjoy playing the not very nice guys, which is interesting because I'd like to be a nice guy. I like to think I'm a nice guy. So the 2014 was without a doubt my most prolific year career-wise, and my most fun. I think 2015 is going to be a big year of change as well, and I tell people that. I said 2015 is going to be a good year. Very excited about that.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. So I guess from jumping back onto Batman now, just quickly, a lot of the questions that some, or what, you know, a main question that a lot of our fans would have is Kevin Porter coming back as the Batman? Is there something rock solid in the pipeline that you have that you think that may come to fruition in the future? Is there a project that may come to surface in that area with everything else that you're doing?
I will tell you this. I know that now that we've gotten Batman Vader out of the way, I know Aaron, and I've spoken to him. I know that he's probably going to have a bunch of small, fun little projects coming up, like cave talks and cool little things like that. Things that we did a lot of at the beginning of this year. And they're fun. They really are. And they whet the appetites. If it were my way, I would love to do another City of Scars. I don't know if that's in the future or not, because that's a huge undertaking. City of Scars took close to 2 years to from start to finish.
Oh wow!
And I know that the guys have other things going on. So I do know that there are Batman projects that are lined up. There's another superpower beatdown. Actually, no. Okay, this is a secret. I'll tell you, because it's just you and I.
Yeah.
There is another superpower beatdown that has been filmed with Batman, and that's coming out next month.
Oh wow! That's very exciting.
Yes, it's pretty cool. Actually, I can't say too much about it, but it's really fun. Oh gosh, I wish I could say more because I would love to talk about it because it was a blast. It's a shorter one, but it's a really really fun one.
Well, you've heard it here
Um,
first on DC Comics News. Thank you.
yeah,
Okay, well that's brilliant news. It certainly keep the fans happy. Um,
yeah.
I'd say I dare say there is a percentage of our fans that are trying to do what you're doing.
Mhm.
Being an actor or an actress, or
Oh, okay.
getting in contact with their artistic side and trying to express
Mhm.
themselves. As part of some of our closing questions, is there any advice that you could give some of our fans in this area, or on how they can get the best out of themselves, or how they can move forward?
Absolutely. Anyone that is trying to be an actor, anyone that has that in their blood, I applaud, and my heart goes out to them. I'm already their fan, um, and especially those that say, you know what, I've seen what can be done. I've seen what Bat and the Sun guys are doing, and they become filmmakers themselves. Um, and I watch all of the films. I love Batman fan films, mainly Batman for some reason. Um, and it doesn't matter if it's a huge production or the smallest production. If it's 12-year-olds running around chasing themselves, I don't care. Um, it's all about passion, and it's all about not making excuses, not saying, well, we don't have $100,000, we don't have $100 million. We're going to make the best film that we can make right now, and then the next one will be better plus two, and then better plus four, and better plus eight. Aaron's first film was Batman Beyond Year One, and it was very cute, we'll say, but he was in high school. And then he did Dark Justice. Dark Justice is the one that he showed to me, and I said, that wasn't bad. We can do better. And then from that point, it went to Legends and Patient J, and then he was wow, and it grew. His confidence was up. So from the projects, Red Hood, there's a Red Hood project out there with Garrett Ridler. There's Chronicles of Batman, or Batman Chronicles. Have you seen those?
Yes,
They're
yes,
amazing. Oh,
yes, they're brilliant.
they really, really are. It's a 3-part miniseries, and those are kind of, to me, I think, those are the ones to watch for. Those are the filmmakers that are on the move, and you've got the smaller ones that are just so incredible. And I reach out to all of them, and I say, "Gosh, that was awesome!" And just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing what you love doing. Follow your passion. Don't give up just because you don't have the Hollywood crew. Find the people, find like-minded filmmakers in your area. Do you guys have Craigslist over there? Do you have
No, no.
Craigslist in Australia? You don't? Well, I'm sure there's some type of commonplace for filmmakers to go to. And what you would do as an actor is you would say, I'm an actor and I want to do a Batman film, and I need a director, and I need a DP, and I need other actors. You will be swamped with filmmakers that come together, and you choose people that have the right attitude, and just make whatever films you want. You can make a film with an iPhone now, and the iMovie. There's no need to, there's no one to say no anymore. And through the internet, you've got your distribution source, Batman versus Vader. Over the internet, no one has to leave their house to see it. So you press a button, and 2 million people can see a movie. And so it takes the power and puts it back into our hands. And it's not just ours; it's in your hands, and it's in all of the young filmmakers' hands out there. Just do the product. You have to put the work in, and if you believe in it, and surround yourself with the right people, just do it. It'll get better. Your first one, when you look back, will be really bad. It'll be horrible. But you're so proud of it. You're so proud of it when you do it. And the second one will be less horrible, and the third one will be pretty watchable, and the fourth one, and you just get better and better and better and better. You just don't stop. You have fun doing it. You have to have fun. You have to laugh. That's the one thing that we always do on set. And we're talking a lot about Bat and the Sun because that's what I'm most passionate about. But even to me, with Fallen Cards, the other day we shot for 14 hours on set, and I was laughing the entire time. You have to, because otherwise it's just not fun, and it shows in the work that you're literally miserable.
That's
That
a
was a long
great.
answer.
That's no, it's a long answer, but it's a very very good answer. It's it's yeah, there's a lot to it, and even in Australia here, we've got the Australian Film Festival, and we've got all these mechanisms for young actors to really build their forte. So thank you for that advice, and I know our fans are really going to appreciate it. To close our interview, I'm going to ask for something quite unique, if you can. Can you give our fans a goodbye in your amazing Batman voice, in your Batman persona? I wasn't going to ask this question, but I thought I wanted to build something unique into the interview.
It's always so awkward. I'll do it for you guys, only because you give such a gracious and honest review of Truth in the Mask. I just wanted to thank everyone for watching all of the projects that we're doing with Batman in the Sun, and know that we're always out here for you, watching, creating better content. Be good. If you can't be good, you'll have to answer to me.
Wow, that was absolutely brilliant.
It's tough to do without the mask. It's tough to do without the mask. You get the mask on, and you're like, I'm going for it. And when you don't have the mask on, you're like, oh, Kevin, deep voice. That's not my. This is my voice. But I have to come here, be gravelly. So I love acting. One last piece of advice: just love what you do. Whether you love painting, acting, accounting, whatever. Everyone has passion. Everyone has an aptitude for that. Thank God. So just have a passion for what you do and follow it.
Well, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending the time with us and really connecting with us and sharing all that. That's amazing. I'm sure our fans are going to absolutely love the time that we've put together for them. So thank you for your time and for everything else, and we look forward.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all of.
I was just going to say we look forward to seeing you on the screen in future projects and gracing our laptop screens, our iPhone screens, and seeing you do what you do best. So thank you for. For making our worlds, more imaginative and more creative. It's really appreciated.
And thank you, Damien, and everyone at DC Comics News for all of your supports. And we will support you guys in whatever that we can.
No worries. Thank you very much.
There you have it. 45 minutes with Kevin Porter. We hope you guys enjoyed the interview. And on behalf of DCComicsNews.com, we'd love to thank Kevin Porter for donating his time and speaking to us, and especially all the work that he's done with us over the last 12 months to bring enjoyable content and interviews to all our fans out there around the world. We know how precious your time is, and we know how busy you are. So thanks again, Kevin Porter, and good luck for the future. And in case we don't speak to our fans before Christmas, have a great vacation, stay safe, have a good one.